Is it overrated or underrated?
Um, the Hall of Fame itself.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I'm enjoying this. I might do this again next week, to be honest with you.
okay. Here's the thing. Okay, so for the longest time, they've kind of been the all-encompassing Hall of Fame for pro wrestling. And so because of that, like they've inducted people who technically should not be in the WWE Hall of Fame, right? You know, you know, because they inducted Thunderbolt Patterson, and he never did anything significant in the WWE, but because they recognize people from again because they're the de facto pro wrestling Hall of Fame.
Right.
So they recognize people like Thunderbolt Patterson. They recognize like the Steiners. They were in WWE for like a year as a tag team. They weren't there long. Harlem Heat wasn't there at all as a tag team. They got in, and the Rock and Roll Express.
Well, WCW, I think we should accept the fact that they use WCW now as their own. They own it, so technically they can
Yeah.
use that shit.
So
Yeah.
I mean, to that, I mean, so I guess to that standpoint, I'd say it's properly rated because again, they were the only. They've been the de facto Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, and also, I'm gonna say underrated. You know why? Because given just the nature of how Vince McMahon operated and how Vince McMahon barely recognized anything outside the company, when it came, they put a lot of people in there who did very little in the WWE or WWF. And when they inducted them, they gave them the full and proper recognition for their careers. So I'm gonna say underrated because they took on look, they recognized people that they didn't have to, and again, Vince was prone to not recognize anything that happened outside of the company, but for whatever reason, he chose to do it with the Hall of Fame. So I'll say underrated.
I have to go overrated because anytime you have to think about, and look, I know politics matter and what happens with in terms of like contract situations and lawsuits matter.